Good morning, everyone. This is Piero San Giorgio. I have the great pleasure to host this morning Gerald Celente. Buongiorno, Gerald.
Buongiorno. You know, my real last name is Celentano.
Ah, like the famous singer.
Oh, yeah. They changed it when it came to America. You know, names got changed, but I'm a Celentano.
He's one of the best.
Uh,
Gerald, I've been reading your Trends Journal for many years, since the time it was a quarterly. And I've have great pleasure reading it every week now since it has been obviously a weekly. And I must say that you are spot on most, actually all of them, but most of the trends. And I wanted to talk to you this morning about three little topics, just small ones. First one, let's take example of gold. Gold has reached its highest value ever. How did you get the trend so precisely?
yeah, that was one of our top trends for 2024 that came out on January 2nd. We said this would be a golden year for gold. I've been at this for 44 years. And I look at things for the way they are, not the way I want them to be. And I'm a political atheist. I don't believe in the crime syndicate that people call a government. So I just look at the facts. And among the facts, why we saw gold going up. One of our top trends was Middle East meltdown. We warned that this is going to continue to escalate in the Middle East as Israel keeps expanding its war. And gold is the number one safe haven. Number two, it's the run-up to the presidential reality show, which they call an election. It's a reality show. It's a clown show. The person that's the Treasury Secretary in the United States is Janet Yellen, is Faccia Bruta, who's formerly the head of the Federal Reserve. So the former head of the Federal Reserve is now the Treasury Secretary in America. The banksters are running the country, right? They want to keep the power in power in power. So they're going to lower interest rates in the run-up to the election to artificially boost the economy. The lower interest rate goes, the deeper the dollar falls. The deeper the dollar falls, the higher gold prices go up. Because gold is dollar-based. So now it's cheaper in other countries to buy gold. And then there's China. We had forecast that the 20th century was the American century and the 21st century would be the Chinese century because the business of China is business and the business of America is war. That changed. When China launched the COVID war on Chinese Lunar New Year, 2020, the year of the rat, they locked down the country for 3 years, zero COVID policy. Now, again, tracking trends is the understanding of where we are, how we got here to see where we're going. How we got here. Well, China's economy was booming when that slime ball little bastard who every time he got caught with his pants down, Bill Clinton, bombs away over Baghdad, brought China into the World Trade Organization. You look at China's GDP before they got into the World Trade Organization, officially 2 weeks after 9/11, 2001, and their GDP escalates. With all booms, there's always a bust. They're overbuilt. So they overbuilt the country. Over 30% of China's GDP is real estate based. They overbuilt it. They made a very bad situation much worse when they locked down the country and destroyed the lives and livelihoods of hundreds of millions of people. And by the way, the COVID war is the damage it's done globally is incalculable. But I want to stay on China for a minute. The people there know how bad it is. Gold sales in China on the retail sector have gone up 25% already this year. China's the biggest buyer of gold. The central banks are buying gold. Because again, going back, everything was artificially propped up with all of this cheap money that they dumped into the system to fight the COVID war. Get into your house. You can't go to work. Hey, here's some free money. Shut the hell up. Do what you're told. Here's some free money. Bring the interest rates, keep them down in zero, negative over there in Europe. We'll bring them to zero in America. That's why we saw gold going up. This is just the beginning. Gold could well hit $3,000 an ounce this year.
That's spot on, I think. And the second element, which is linked to what you said, is that one of the trends you've been speaking for the last 3 or 4 years is that when everything else fails, they bring you to war.
Right.
And you've been doing a lot of efforts for managing peace, but of course, no one is reporting except independent media like us. And for sure, you have been predicting this expansion of the war. Do you see this? Where do you see this leading us in terms of trends in the Middle East and in Russia and elsewhere?
At the end of life on Earth, nuclear annihilation. Look at the little shitheads you got over there. Little pieces of scum one after that. Little Stoltenberg boy. Yeah. Tusk over there in Poland. One after another. Peace is over. We need more money for defense. We're in an area of war. If we don't stop those Russians over there in Ukraine, all of Europe will be destroyed. That's the shit that's thrown out. That Vandalin, again, if only women were in charge. Good and bad comes in everybody. What a load of crap. What, Baerbock over there in Germany? One little warmongering freak after another. One little war. How about that little Gatson over there in France, Macron? A little boy with that big is Pecker. A little boy of nothing. More war, more war. A little warmongering prick like Cameron over there in the UK. Oh, the guy that brought us the Libyan war. That little bastard. Demonic people are running the world. Demonic people, warmongers. If we don't stop this, we are going to be annihilated in nuclear war.
You are discussing this, I think, weekly with Judge Napolitano, and those, I advise people to subscribe to your channel. These are worth gold in terms of discussions. And you're also discussing a lot with him the loss of civil rights, civil liberties, and freedoms.
They're gone.
And this is not a new trend. However, we are in, and this is my third topic that I wanted to discuss perhaps longer with you, is we are in an election or perhaps selection year in the United States. How is this going to change anything, if at all?
Nothing. If Trump wins, the nation goes more towards civil war and hatred. If Biden wins, it just keeps going the same way it's going now. It's going to crap. I have to tell you, I cried throughout the day. As a Napolitano, born in the Bronx, 1946, the height of America, right after the war, the spirit of this country was so great. You are free to be who you want. Don't you tell me what to do, and I won't tell you what to do. We grew up as fighters. Don't mess with me, and have a good time. You listen to the music from the 1920s, oh yeah, the roaring 20s, swing time during the Great Depression, R&B, rock and roll, Motown. Now it's one bad rap. The people look like shit. They dress like shit. They eat shit. The whole country's gone to shit. It breaks my heart to see the decline of this country. Because I love America. I wouldn't be me if I was born in Altavella Pina, Vica Quents. I'm only me because, again, born in the Bronx, born to be free. Yeah, one of my books, you had the book, this book, I believe, what Cincy gave Honey Boy.
It's a beautiful book.
Yeah. It's the Neapolitan dialect for Auntie. It breaks my heart. It breaks my heart. I see the decline. That's my business. Best-selling books, Trend Tracking, Trends 2000. weekly magazine. Now it's a weekly, but since 1991. I see the future. And if we don't unite for peace, we are going to rot in hell. It's going to be hell on earth. Look at what's going on with the slaughter in front of everybody's eyes of the Palestinian kids and people. Right in front of everybody's eyes. And I'm tired of hearing this crap. God gave us this land. Hey, go fuck yourself. How about if I don't believe in your God? Can you handle that? Oh, no. It says in the Torah, chapter 6, section 8, screw you. You're stealing this land. It's in violation of the Geneva Convention. And you made up this crap with the Balfour Declaration in 1917, where His Majesty's government, paid for by the Rothschilds, declares that the Jewish settlers could settle in the land of Palestine. Oh, and don't forget this. We're the chosen people. You're just a piece of shit. I'm tired of this crap. And don't call me an anti-Semite and don't call me a Jew hater. 3 of my last 4 girlfriends were Jewish. And the people running Israel aren't Semites. They're Ashkenazi Jews from northeastern Khazar region in Europe. The Palestinians are Semites.
That's true.
They just passed a resolution in Congress in the United States. You ready? If you say from the river to the sea, you are being charged with anti-Semitism.
Is that even a crime in the US?
They just made it a declaration. You're accused of being an anti-Semite. Murderers in front of everybody's eyes. Not one of these little bastards. Everybody that supports war, put on your drag uniform, go over there and fight. Send your wife, send your kids, send your transgenders, or shut your mouth. I don't want my money going to kill people.
Is there any...
I launched Occupy Peace over a decade ago, so it ain't bullshit. I fight for peace. I'm a warrior for the Prince of Peace.
Is there any chance, since election seems to not matter, that we turn back or change the trend to go back to something that would eventually lead us to a genuine change in policies, path towards peace, and less war and more healthy economics and life?
No, unless the people unite against the establishment. I mean, they call it a little. I was the assistant to the secretary of the New York State Senate. You saw pictures of me. I picked Ronald Reagan up at the Chicago Hilton. It was the #2 guy running a trade association. In 2 days, in 1976, I was 30 years old. 2 days before he was running against Gerald Ford for the nomination. I've been with presidents, prime ministers, and princes. I've been on the other side. It's a freak show. Little ballless little guys. You call them out man to man, they don't know whether to piss or shit. They're the ones telling us what to do. It's up to the people to unite. Get this in your head. You're a public servant. You got it? You work for me. Oh, no. When roll out the red carpet, here comes the prime minister, here comes the president, here comes the chancellor, little Olaf Schultz, little shits, one country after another. How about Sunak over there in the UK? Look at the little boy. Oh, forgot. How about the clown boy before him, Boris Johnson? Look at the little freak show. A freak show in front of everybody's eyes, and they don't have the fight to fight back.
Perhaps the last question on this is that, do you have any trends that you see that are positive for this year?
No, none at all, unless the people unite. And
not even
this
Bitcoin?
Nothing positive. Making money is not positive.
Yeah.
Again, a big trend to watch out for that no one is talking about. That's one of our top trends for 2024. Banks go bust. When these little clown boys and girls in Italy, of course, was the first one to shut down after China.
Yes.
It was Conte, I think, was the prime minister then.
Yeah.
Or is it Cunty? I forget. The average age of the people dying was 81 years old. Yeah. Go back in your house, you can't go to work. The office vacancy rate in New York City, meaning nobody in the buildings, nobody, 23% vacant. Occupancy, people going back to work, 49%. San Francisco, vacant, 30%. Portland, 29%. On average, over 20% of the buildings in America are vacant. All right. How am I going to pay back my loans as the owner of the building when tenants aren't renewing it and there's over $2 trillion worth of commercial real estate loans coming due? When all, again, tracking trends is the understanding of how we got here, where we're going, how we got here, where we are, how we got here to see where we're going. Fight the guy that had 12 floors in a office building. And now the people don't want to come back to work because they're saying, I'm not getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning, 5:30 to go commute an hour and a half. I'm not doing that anymore. I say, yeah, I got all these people in these cubicles. I don't see them anyway. Yeah, stay home. I don't need all this space. So how am I, the owners of these buildings, going to pay for your mortgage that's due? You're not. Number two, the reality is that the banks got very filled up with money when they had the COVID war and they gave people all this cheap money. So what did the banks do with that money? They bought U.S. Treasuries. They bought U.S. Treasuries when interest rates were at 0. So the Treasuries aren't worth that much of anything. So now the banks don't have the money to cover the failure of the real estate holders not paying their mortgages. Number two, these are revolving loans. They're interest rate based. Interest rates were very low when they bought the buildings. Now they're very high.
Yeah.
So they got to pay even more. Pay even more while they have much, much less. No one is talking about this. No one. They don't want the people to know how bad it is. That, you go back to this time last year, March, we're in April. You go back to March and April, there were 3 bank busts in America: Silicon Conman Bank, First Republic, Signature. Look what happened to the stock markets and gold. They skyrocketed. 3 banks, the numbers coming out, 382 banks, excuse me, 282 banks are in very serious trouble right now. So there's going to be a crash. The other issue to look at is the escalation. What a joke. Again, you get the Trends Journal.
Yep.
What, for about 7 months now, we said that when the Israel war escalates, and not if, but when Israel attacks Iran, oil prices are going to escalate. And they could hit as high as $130 a barrel. That's our quote, over and 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 over. And that's going to crash the global economy and the equity markets. You know what the big news came out today? Bank of America says Brent crude could hit $130 a barrel. Oh, we only said this for how long and how? Week after week, month after month?
Yep.
That doesn't count. Bank of America said it now, so now it's legit. So we're in a serious crisis. And if the people don't unite for peace, I want to read something just to make it clear to everybody. I'm giving you the facts. This is how a Trends Journal was a quarterly. 2006, Crusades 2000. Regardless of what England's reasons or intentions were, self-serving or otherwise, Crusades 2000 was set in motion by the 1917 Balfour Declaration that laid the foundation for Israel. Quote, His Majesty's government views with favor the establishment in Palestine of a national home for the Jewish people. His Majesty's government, some murderous prick from the UK where the sun never sets on the British Empire, a crime syndicate that murders people all over the world to steal what they have. Oh yeah, that's His Majesty. That's the kind of shit they throw in people's mouths. Oh, he's a majesty. He doesn't shit or piss. He's a majesty. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It goes on. And we will use our best endeavors to facilitate the achievement of this objective. Slaughter all the Palestinians you want. Steal whatever you want. His Majesty does it, you can do it too. Nobody talks about this. Silence. Silence. More money for Israel to keep slaughtering. Keep sending them weapons. Keep sending those weapons to Ukraine, the most corrupt country in Europe. Oh, not according to me, according to the UN and the latest poll out of Ukraine, the number one concern of the people, other than the war, is corruption. Anyway, it's very, if we don't unite for peace, then you got to have money to do it. Got to have money to do it. Can't do it without dough. That's the way of the world. If the billionaires put in $1 billion apiece, we'd have a peace movement. Not a penny for peace.
Unfortunately, you're right. And that's why people should prepare and subscribe to the Trends Journals and also read my books. Gerald, thank you very much for your time. And I hope everything is nice for you in Kingston and you have a nice spring, because we have to enjoy the little things.
I have art and beauty all around me. I create as much art and beauty. I eat wonderful every day. I thank God, my parents, my aunts and uncles, for everything that they've given me and how blessed I am. So I very much appreciate everything I have, and I try to live at the highest spiritual, physical, and mental level I could pull off. And that's what I suggest to everybody. Get in the best shape you can, physically, emotionally, and spiritually, because you're in the fight for your life.
Thank you very much, Gerald.
Grazie.